Welcome back to the Mason Cable Night Show. I'm joined now by contributors to Fourth Estate. Please welcome Alex Shed and Besma Humadi. Guys, how are you doing today?
Great. It's good to be here.
Same.
How's your semester going?
Pretty good so far, yeah.
Staying on top of all your work and stuff?
Sure.
Yeah, we're trying.
Okay, so I feel like most people know Fourth Estate as like the campus newspaper, but really it's so much more than that. So looking at it from like a big picture perspective, what is Fourth Estate?
For me, it's really about kind of making the newspaper really a hub for the entire Mason community and a platform for students to share their voices. I think in the past we've had kind of a problem with people not reading the paper, not really caring about the content in it, and for me this year is about fixing that.
Yeah, and I would second that too. We really want to like create conversations on campus and do like more reporting and tap into like kind of the culture of Mason.
So you are the editor-in-chief and you are the managing editor. So what specific responsibilities do you have with those positions?
Well, I think we kind of share a lot of the burden. It's really a joint effort, I think, but mainly it's, being there at production, making sure all the sections are getting their sections done, answering questions for people, and passing all the content that goes on to the layout and the printers, and also sometimes helping assist on big stories. Like we have a few in the works right now that I've been helping with.
Alex is more like on the content side, and then I'm more organizational, so like I help out more with like doing workshops or having like fundraisers, also doing with like class credit because we offer that now. But it's also just like a lot of week-to-week production, like answering questions, making sure each section is running smoothly.
The Fourth Estate has really, in recent memory, I think, dropped some articles that have started a lot of positive conversation here on campus. So in that, like, what is the process? Like, you really have to be fearless when you're talking about some heavy topics. So as journalists, how do you handle this?
Well, last year when I was the assistant news editor, I helped put together an investigative story about the money that the school gets from the Koch brothers.
Yes,
I worked on that.
That was the big one.
Yeah, I worked on that with Dana Nickel and Liv Vermain, who are also both on the editorial staff now. And that was kind of 9 months of hard work and research, and then we published it in 3 separate issues, and I think it came out really well, and it got more attention than anything else really had up until that point. And then about a month after that, we had published the Title IX piece concerning the allegations against the former student body president, David Kanos, and that was far and away our most popular piece that we had done that year, and several years prior to that as well. So coming into this job, I wanted to put more of a focus on that kind of hard-hitting investigative journalism because, a lot goes on in the Mason community, and if we're not the ones reporting on it, then, who is?
How do you inspire your staff to really believe in what you're doing and then produce these results that you have found?
Well, I think a lot of the people who work on these stories, they understand how important it is that we keep, the people in power here accountable, that we keep the communities that are affected by these issues in the know. The people that we put on these stories, they are very passionate. Normally it's not even a matter of assigning them. Usually they come to me with it or they start on their own. So I think it's just really, they understand the importance of these stories and they want to make a difference in their community.
Yeah, I think it's been really great because we have like a good group of people working with us on Fourth Estate that are pretty driven and want to get those kinds of stories out and want to tell those stories because it's important.
How did you all get involved with Fourth Estate? Like, what year did you join and what was that process like?
Let's see, I wrote my first piece actually for the culture section spring of sophomore year. It was a review of Get Out.
Oh, cool. Love that movie.
Yeah, so I wrote a couple pieces that spring, and then it's actually an interesting story. Going into that summer, I pushed the former editors-in-chief, Sozan and Fariha, into kind of starting a Metro section because I'm very interested in politics. I'm a government major, so I was like, well, I want to cover, the stuff that's going on in D.C. And so they actually did that at first, but then, they decided as an editorial staff that we could have been focusing more on Mason stuff, which I agree with. So I went from being one of the Metro editors to the assistant news editor. And then I was assistant news editor all of last year, all of my junior year, and then everybody graduated and I ran for editor-in-chief, and here we are.
So you just kind of worked your way
Yeah,
up to the top almost.
Yeah, and I sought out the newspaper originally. I didn't actually, when I first started writing, I didn't even know that we had a newspaper, but I just, I love writing, and I wanted to, see what I could do with that. And I think that's a really important instinct to follow for people who are into this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. How did you get involved?
I started off writing for Forsyth State since I've been a freshman, and now I'm a senior. And I knew it was something that I wanted to be a part of when I first joined Mason, just because before in high school I was also working on my school newspaper there. And I started off with the culture section too, and wrote there for a year. Then I did a semester abroad in Cyprus, so that was my hiatus, and I came back. And I've been writing for the culture section, moved up to assistant lifestyle editor, which is now culture. And throughout it, I've covered a lot of the visiting filmmakers on campus, a lot of different organizations. The first story I wrote was about the Cure mental illness organization that had just started then, and just talking to, I've gotten the opportunity to talk to a lot of people working in their field, a lot of filmmakers, and then also just Mason students, also helping run Faces of Mason when that made its debut too, and eventually worked up to managing editor.
If other people want to get involved, how can they do that?
You can always email us at our Gmail, which is masonforthestate@gmail.com, and we usually get back to prospective writers pretty immediately. And then it's really just a matter of getting you in touch with the right editor for you, and they'll start assigning you stories. Deadline of usually about 4 days, and then you've immediately just got published work on your resume, which is a pretty unique thing in a university environment. Even if you're not really into journalism, if that's not your career goal, if you're doing anything that really requires writing, or you want to do something that requires writing, it's a fantastic opportunity to get that published work and have experience being edited and bouncing ideas off other people who are there for the same thing. So I think it's a really great experience for anybody.
Not just that, we also have a photography team, or if you're interested in copy editing, there's opportunities for that too.
So if people just want to view your content and read all your stuff and follow your articles, how can they do that? What's the best way to stay connected with the Forsyth State?
Sure. Well, we have a social media presence. We post regularly on Twitter, doing a little more with Facebook and Instagram as well. And of course we have our website, gmforthestate.com. And we're actually in the very early stages of starting a brand new website from the ground up that would feature content from our organization as well as MCN and WGMU.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah. So we have our website and our social media presence, and it's only getting bigger. Of course, my preferred way of people seeing the content is to just pick up a newspaper.
Where can they do that? Where are the spots?
Oh, they're everywhere. There's at least 3 kiosks in the Johnson Center, and then really just all over campus. Keep an eye out for the big green boxes, and there will be newspapers in there.
All right. Well, I have one more question for y'all. What is your major?
Government.
What's your major?
Conflict resolution.
Okay. Would you say you're smarter than a comm major?
Oh, yeah, probably.
I mean, probably.
Well, when we get back, we're going to put that to the test as we play Are You Smarter Than a Comm Major?